The quality of our soil is changing, I feel now. So what are you conscious of doing to provide the nutrients in the food that you're using?
You do this one so well. It's one of your babies.
It's one of my babies. There are several issues here. One, yes, in fact, the amount of soil has been greatly depleted. It used to be 6 feet of topsoil in California. They're down under a foot. The volume of topsoil has been depleted. And in fact, since chemical fertilization has occurred and high-yield agriculture has been instituted so that there's crops going in the winter and summer, it is depleting on the soil tremendously. Several truths remain. One is that if the nutrients essential for that particular plant are not in the soil, the plant will grow, but it won't produce whatever fruit or vegetable it's supposed to produce. For instance, if there's no iron in the soil, iron being an imperative constituent in a tomato, if you try to grow a tomato in soil that's deficient in iron, either if there's some iron, the plant will make some tomatoes, but it won't make a lot. Or if there's no iron present, it simply won't make tomatoes. It won't make iron-free tomatoes any more than a banana plant will make potassium-free bananas. If potassium isn't in the soil in high supply, then the plant will only make a few bananas rather than a large racine. Second, most of the food that we recommend comes from trees with deep roots, from fruit trees, from nut trees. Fruit trees don't have the deepest roots on the planet of all trees, but they generally run at least 2 to 3 to as much as 5 meters. We're not talking about topsoil. So the nutrition in the food isn't affected by the topsoil. In fact, the trees create the topsoil. They don't take from the topsoil. Vegetables, on the other hand, have roots that only sink down a few inches. Whether there is 10 feet of topsoil or 10 inches of topsoil is totally irrelevant to a lettuce because it only has 2 inches of roots. It doesn't know what's down below that. But the nutrition aspect definitely plays a part. In my total diet, only 2% of my total calories come from vegetables. Vegetables don't yield many calories. It's hard to get more than 3%. I would be very surprised if there's anyone in the room who got more than 3% of their total calories from vegetables. You have to eat mountains of vegetables. But I eat about 2% of my total calories come from vegetables. If those 2% don't have the highest possible yield of nutrients on the planet, I'm really not that worried about it. I'm still eating the most nutritious diet that I can possibly figure out how to eat. But the nuts, the seeds, the fatty fruits, and all of the sweet fruits aren't affected by this topsoil situation at all, by the depletion of it or the lack of it. And the vegetables only by the depletion of it. So how do I make up for that? Eat a few extra lettuce leaves, and it makes up the difference. I stopped worrying about it. It became an issue that was relatively insignificant. The part that's more significant, I think, is the people who are selling us dehydrated vegetables in the form of nutrient supplementation, telling us that their dehydrated vegetables weren't grown on the same depleted soil as everybody else's vegetables. That, I go, where did they go to find special soil that no one else has access to? And that's where I start thinking in terms of, because we're health seekers, we're very susceptible to scams and hoaxes and other flim-flam situations. We keep our thinking caps on, because if our lettuce isn't coming from good soil, why should somebody else's dehydrated lettuce that now costs us $10 a teaspoonful, why is theirs so good, but the stuff that we could buy fresh, not as good? We know fresh is the best. So good, but the stuff